Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a template for you that you can download. If you just go into the description, I have a link to that for you to grab. And keep in mind, you're also going to need the fonts that I have linked there. To install a font, you simply go to the website, click install. You might have to unzip the folder, then you double click. A new tab will pop up within Windows or Mac, and you should see an install button, and that will install it to your operating system. And from there, you are good to go. If you have Photoshop, GIMP, or any other downloaded software, you can access it right away. But if you don't own Photoshop, which is what I'm using, and Photoshop is a paid service, you have to use a website called Photopia. Now, this is one website of many that you can use, but this is the one that is most similar to Photoshop, so it'll be easiest for you to follow along. Though we'll do a quick demo with Photopia as to how to edit this template to suit your needs. And before I get too far into this, you're going to see popping up on screen now different looks for the banners, how they actually look when they're in use. And you'll notice for the Discord one, because it is so much smaller than Twitter and YouTube, I had to cut out the social section, but I left it in the template. So if you decide you want that instead of the text, you are of course free to do as you wish and put that in there, but I'm going to leave it out for the download. We'll leave it hidden. Now, I guess without further delay, let's jump right into how you can go about editing this. So, the first thing you'll probably want to edit is the text, and this is super simple. You click the text tool and you click in the vicinity, or I guess right on top of where the text is, and then we can type whatever we want. So I'm going to put Suke, and because it is kind of compact with the space that we have, I might have to adjust my character to the left or shrink the size of my text down, either by selecting it all with a Control A after clicking and scaling this down, or by Control T, or if Control T does not work, edit and free transform, and then just scale it down. You might have to hold Shift, but if you don't, then that's fine. The reason is I have my little chain here under Properties, Window, Properties, locked. So if I do Control T, it's going to resize it proportionally. But if you have it unlocked, then you will have to hold Shift when you do so to keep it proportionate. And let me show you the same thing in Photopia. I'm holding Alt to scroll in, and I'm scrolling while I hold Alt to zoom in further. Go over to my left, click with the text tool, and because I didn't load my font, it's going to default to this, but I'll show you how to load the font in a second. And it's the same thing, we can type whatever we want, and type anime if we so desire. And now to actually load a font into Photopia, you have to come over here next to the T, click down, click load font, and from here you can load the OTF/TTF font from your computer, and from there you are good to go with the fonts. Alright, back to Photoshop. Next thing you probably want to change is the text over here. Same thing, I don't see a need to go further into that. You can just click, and you have what you so desire. If you don't want to use YouTube, Twitter, and Discord, and for a Twitter banner, including your Twitter handle is probably a little silly. So you can drag in your new icon, Control V, paste it in. Though if you just paste it in as a transparent image, it's going to add a black background, so you probably should save it first, then File, Open, and then open it. And once it's open in a new tab, you can highlight over all of it to edit, copy, and then paste it in, or just drag it in with the Move tool like this. In this case, it won't work because this isn't just a single image. And once you have it dragged in, just right click, go to blending options, color overlay, and make your new icon white. So let's say you're using it for Twitch or Instagram, you just right click, color overlay, and you are good to go. From there, same thing, edit, free transform, or Control T, and you can resize it to fit this space. And then same exact thing with Photopia, we can just zoom in. I think here, same exact spot, free transform, and that tooltip here, or the hotkey, is Alt Control T. Great, back to this. Next thing I'm going to do is the character. So say you drag in this new character and you want to get this pink left and white right on there. So first, click the layer, I guess you don't have to. Come over to this left side and find the eyedropper tool, and then click, and you'll notice this color here on the left is now that color we just selected. So we can delete this, let's delete the main, and now we're going back to our initial character. We can do a Control J or Control C, Control V, same thing. Control J is a bit quicker, and a Control V seems to have knocked her off center. So let me recenter her. Now I'm going to do right click, blending options, color overlay, and let's make this one the pink. I'm just going to click over there and it is now pink. Okay, okay. Right click, rasterize layer style, and we want to make sure this is below the actual full color version of our character. Now on the move tool, I'm going to use my 2 fingers, go over to my arrow keys and click left, 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 and keep clicking left until my character shadow, you could say, is off to the left side. Now same thing, I'm going to do a Control J, then right click, blending options, go to color overlay. This time I'm going to use white, and right click, rasterize layer style, and I'll be moving it off to the right. The reason I said 2 fingers is you might also want to put it down a bit, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to move it to the right. Okay, that's done. And I believe one of the last steps, I'll get into color in just a moment, will be editing the base area. I suppose I should quickly jump over Photopia and show you it's a really similar step here as well. We go over to character, we go over to the left, the eyedropper tool, we eyedropper onto here, and it is now on the left side. See that white became a pink. If we click it, we can see the hex code. Wonderful. Delete, delete, right click, duplicate layer, just drag this below, right click, blending options, color overlay, click, click, okay, excuse me, there we go, that okay. And then can we use the arrow keys here? We can indeed. Arrow keys over. I'm not going to bother doing the white because from here it is pretty self-explanatory. Now let's go over to our overlay of characters. And this one, just click on the character layer and you will see that I applied a multiply with an opacity of 39%. Depending on your character, that opacity might change. Some characters who are a lighter color might need a higher opacity, and characters who are a darker color will need a lighter opacity. Just tinker around with it until you have about the similar look here with the fade, though I suppose you can have more or less depending on how you see fit. Now to actually clip this on a layer below, because let me give you a better example. For example, this character here, if she's unclipped, when you initially drag her in, let me clear layer style, she'll be this big old monstrosity, and then you have to just drag her to the right first with the move tool. Then you can either right click, create clipping mask, or let me Control Z that, which is undo. I can hold Alt, click in between, and she is now in this spot. From here, I'm going to set her to multiply and bring the opacity back down to about 40%. Cool, that is out the way, and let me get onto the color. So if you want to completely redo the entire color, there's a lazy step, which will probably not have as nice of an outcome, and there's a more complicated step. The more complicated step is going layer by layer to where everything is pink and redoing that, which in this case, you'll be spending quite a bit of time doing that. I mean, if you even go into that point, I don't think you need a tutorial on how to do that, because that is a little more complicated, I would say, going through each of the layers and recoloring them. I'll show you a quick example. So starting with the back, blending options. Let's say I want to make this blue. So let's go to blue. I'll pick a really light blue. And from there, I'll keep on recoloring. So I'll go over to this right side, and I can copy layer style, then clear layer style, then right click, blending options. I'm gonna go into color overlay and make this a darker blue. Okay, okay. Oopsie. right click, rasterize layer style, right click, paste layer style to repaste the effects I had before. And essentially you do that all the way throughout. Again, that is super tedious and I'm not sure if it's worth your while. Now the lazy way to do this is you just pick blue from over here, say, all right, that's a nice blue. I come over to the left side and I'm gonna do, I can never find the tool. Oh, no, that's not it. Color replacement tool. So I can come over to a layer like this. You still have to go layer by layer for most cases, but I can just go like, gotta rasterize it first, I guess. Just like that. Look, because I rasterized it, she's now appearing on the stroke. But you get the idea of how this would work. Now I'm just gonna go all the way over here, do just like that. Go onto the base extra. And generally it will keep the same tone, so if it's lighter or darker, it will kind of match that. But again, doing this all over the place is a lot of work, so I'm not sure if it's really something you want to bother doing, though I'll leave it up to you. And popping into Photopia, really similar step. I think. Do they have color replacement here? Oh, yep, they have color replacement. So I can pick my blue, I can go over to it. Ah, now it's purple. Blue. There we go. Let's go over to my base area, overlay characters. Let's pick that one right here. And I cannot drag to make that bigger. How do I make this bigger? There we go. Size. And then, excuse me. There we go. I don't know what all this is, but okay, maybe this tool is not as helpful in Photopia. So if you're using Photopia, you might be out of luck. What is all this nonsense? Look at this. I'm gonna pretend I did not see that. Okay, so again, Photopia has limitations. If you really want to get into editing and creating, Photoshop is the way to go, but Photopia is a great place to start if you cannot afford Photoshop or Photoshop's too intimidating. But otherwise, this is super simple to edit. Hope you found this template helpful. I guess the template won't be helpful. The guide of how to edit the template, I hope you found that helpful. And if you did, you want to see more content like this, and believe me, there is so much more on the way, please like the video and subscribe. Other than that, I hope you have an awesome day.